The "it's always the right time" deal.
Hey, want to go to Mickey D's for lunch?
Ooh, let's go now.
But it's not lunchtime yet.
If we're going to McDonald's, it's always the right time.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
There's a deal for every lunch hour at McDonald's.
Now's the time to get 2 for $3.99. Mix and match a 4-piece McNuggets, a McDouble, a McChicken, or a hot and spicy McChicken. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Welcome to the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, and for almost a decade, I have been a transformation coach and therapist. This podcast is all about lifting the veil of consciousness and awakening to the truth. It is also about helping you to raise the bar in all areas of your life and relationships by starting with you. If you're ready to take back your personal power and reclaim your life, you have come to the right place. I'm so glad that you're here, so let's get started with today's episode. It is Canada Day here as I'm recording this. It is the eve of the next full moon. I'm just getting over this really nasty virus thing that has caused me to be hacking my head off for like 4 days straight. I lost my voice pretty much. Like I could still talk, but it sounded awful. And I also just am coming off of my cycle time. So it's all literally happened in this last week. And I mean, everything has just been rising to the surface and looking to be cleared. And I really believe this. Like, I'm not a religious person. I have certain spiritual beliefs, things that I've changed over the years about what it is that I believe. But I do believe in cycles, seasons, the energy of the moon, the earth cycles, life cycles, those types of things, being in tune with our own cycles as women. That is what I really resonate with. And I believe that when we have come through some difficult times, a lot of stuff rises to the surface that looks like everything is kind of going wrong at the same time. And I talked about this in my last episode. And after recording that is when I started to get sick. So I'm like, okay, well, this is the last thing in the series of craziness that is going to go wrong. So I have had a hard time trying to record because of my voice and I keep coughing, so I'm going to have to edit those portions out. I'll do my best to get through this. But what I wanted to actually do today for this episode is share something that I've written about when you're shifting. I really believe that all of the crap that rises to the surface that looks like a lot of things going wrong paves the way for a radical shift in our healing, in our transformation, in our spiritual growth. I have seen that happen over and over and over and over again. Like I feel that happening for myself in things that I'm doing, changes that I'm making. And I wonder if maybe you can identify with that too, if that resonates with you around paying attention to cycles and patterns and just the way that life sort of pans out. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. There's always going to be problems. But I've seen this with clients many, many times over where they are about to make a really profound change, like starting to leave their very long-term marriages with kids and houses and all these things as part of the mix. And it feels like every single thing is coming up as far as problems go and obstacles and roadblocks. And I do believe that this is an opportunity for us to look at ourselves, to go within, to really go deeper within ourselves, to rest more, to simplify, to look at what's not working and look at where we can fix it. And I talk more about that in the previous episode. So check that one out. What I was going to share before I get into the writing that I did is that you will notice that there are some ads plugged into the episodes now. It's been a while that I've been sort of thinking, how can I monetize the podcast in a way that pays me for my time? It takes me time every week to come, record, edit, and upload 1 to 3 episodes a week. Hasn't been that often lately, but it is time, it's a time investment. And I decided I'm just going to go for it. So if you are here listening, this is a free podcast. I know that it has changed countless women's lives just on its own. I get a lot of emails and DMs and messages about how this podcast has helped women leave their relationships, women that I've never met before. I do read those messages, as I've said, but I don't respond to a lot of them because it takes a lot of time to do that. So just shouting it out here that if you've been a listener and what I've shared here has been enough to tip you over that edge to be able to get away from the situation, that's great. But at the same time, because it's free, I am looking to monetize the free content. So if you are planning on sticking around, that's great. If it really bothers you, you can fast forward through it, but just, go with it and realize this is a free show. It costs time, investment of my time and energy to put it out here for free for you. So you'll just have to tolerate the ads or fast forward the ads, because those are what you will notice on all episodes from here on. All right, so let's dive into the writing that I have for you. It's called As You're Shifting. As you're shifting, you'll begin to realize that you're not the same woman you used to be. Where you once stayed silent, you're now speaking your truth, and you'll start being willing to lose others in order to keep yourself. What you used to tolerate becomes absolutely intolerable. Where you once argued and fought, you now say fewer words or nothing at all. You begin to value your time, energy, peace, words, effort, love, voice, and care in a whole new way. And you begin to see that the same people and situations are no longer worth your time, energy, and focus. And you can walk away because you will never abandon yourself for love or anyone ever again. When I took full ownership of my life and where I needed to grow, everything changed for the better. When I decided I wanted peace and started making changes that aligned with peace, I've become more calm and present as a result. When I decided I was going to break my old patterns of believing I needed a man to take care of me, while also facing my cycles of debt and never having enough money or my own money, and I started to take my finances more seriously and my role as a business owner, I was able to put myself in a position to buy a house entirely on my own within a 2-year span, going from unable to do that to actually doing it. When we find ourselves in the same patterns or moving past them and sliding back into them, having the awareness that we have slid back is growth. Patterns are difficult to break. They require emotional, psychological shifts backed by new action, which can be uncomfortable. But real change comes from doing what scares the hell out of you. Real change comes from doing what you fear the most when it lines up with growth and moving toward a better future. Real change comes when we take 100% ownership and accountability for ourselves and our lives and keep working toward our goals. Complaining and venting about the problems drains your energy and is a drag for those who have to continually listen to it and see you're not actually taking actions to change it. Taking ownership over your mind, emotions, actions, circumstances, and patterns is truly life-changing. So stepping into this is what growth and transformation is all about. So if you are going through a period where you can relate to my previous episode where it feels like a lot of things are working against you, that you're hitting a lot of roadblocks and limitations and problems and issues coming up, you can choose to slip into victim thinking. Why me? Why this? Fuck me? What the hell, right? I mean, we can all go there. I definitely have been there a couple times this last month, a few times, where it's like, what next, right? That kind of thing. But rather than going there is to really shift into yes, it can always be worse, and to focus on what is actually going well, what you're grateful for, what you actually have, the blessings that you have, the abundance that you do have, and the resources that you have, even if you feel like you don't. You can create the resources. And I believe from my own experience, you can come from no way to finding a way if you really, really put in the time, effort, and energy and focus into the right areas of your life. You can change from how the hell did I get here and how the hell do I get out of here to actually not even recognizing who you are within months or a year of getting out the other side. And I've seen this time and time again with women I've worked with, women I do work with, that once they make that decision to walk that very difficult path of leaving, the growth that comes from that and the empowerment that comes from that is astounding, and they don't even recognize themselves. And when you really can step into that version of yourself that really sees your value and that can walk away from something, whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, doesn't matter how long it's been. It's taking a stand to realize I'm not doing this anymore. And you get to that no more fuck this moment of I'm not doing this for another day, because you start to see that your energy and your efforts and what you're capable of giving is valuable, and that you deserve to, if you're going to be in a relationship, to be with someone that values that and is reciprocating that on some level back, right? It's not healthy to give. And this is what I see too with women, and I can totally get this, but I see this in the community of women that I'm in, right? Is I gave him this, I gave him that, I gave him everything I could possibly give him, I gave him, and here's what he did to me. Like, poor me, fuck me, why me, that kind of thing. And sure, that sucks, and I've seen women in some pretty crappy situations. I know that we tend to overgive and really be super generous and loving and all those things, doting, and we don't get that back, and so we become resentful, or we do it because we want that same level of love and care back, and we don't get it. So then we feel hurt, we feel abandoned, resentful, all of those things, when we don't realize, well, I just haven't had boundaries in place. So I'm giving all this stuff, and I'm seeing this isn't coming back to me on any level. It's so imbalanced, but I'm still doing it, hoping I'm going to get a different result, which is love, right? It's having boundaries to realize that giving with the expectation or hope that you're going to get that same level back is not love, it's codependency. So we have to realize what healthy love is. Healthy love is reciprocal. That's one of my most favorite words, is reciprocation, give and take, ebb and flow. It's not always 50-50. Sometimes one is giving a little more to the other, and the other will give to the other at a different time. But it should feel like the energy is reciprocal, that there is give and take, that one person is not doing all the work. So if you are giving all of your time and support and effort and love and care, and none of it's coming back to you, that's a you problem. That's a you issue. That is a you not having boundaries issue. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be who you are, which is someone that is loving and giving. But you want to be those things to those that are deserving of that. They're deserving of those gifts that you have. And deserving means it's someone that knows how to respect you, treat you, listen to you, communicate with you, be fucking mature with you, who knows how to actually carry on a conversation, even if it's difficult, that doesn't turn into a shit show. Someone that cares about how you feel, someone that cares if they say something that hurts you, someone that is giving of you and nurturing you back and doing things for you back. Maybe they're not the exact same things, but you're giving to each other. So then when you're in a relationship like that, then yes, give all of your love, pour it all out, because you know you're going to be poured back into. So that is, for me, that in a nutshell is the growth that I could say I've experienced over the last, I don't know, it's been a long time coming, right? It's all shifts, but this last year has been a lot of growth spurts and growing pains to really realizing my worth. And as I grow and evolve and change and work on myself, which I am always doing, I'm able to better lead women in these situations, out of these situations when they're in these relationships, because I've walked it, right? And so that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. And I feel like the last year or more, I have kind of just been, I've still been doing my work, but I've kind of been holding back and not fully necessarily bringing parts of myself into my work. So I am doing a little bit more of that, sharing a little more personally on the podcast, just a bit. I'm very boundaried around what I share personally of my personal life, but just sharing little bits of my growth journey without putting details in that aren't necessary. I do also share in our private Facebook group, where I write or do quick little videos in the Facebook group. If you're not in that Facebook group, you can request to join, just by searching do a hashtag symbol and Awakening Women Support in the Facebook search bar, and it will pop up. I put a hashtag name as the group so that it's easy to find in that way. So if you want to join and be part of the podcast discussion, it is a vetted group. So if you don't have like a profile picture, or it looks like you're a guy or something like that, then you won't be accepted in. I actually personally vet each person that comes in because of that reason. So if you want to be part of that and continue this conversation, then join us in the group. With all that said, I can feel my voice starting to go. So I wanted to get this recorded and done so I don't miss another week. I just feel like I've fallen off my pattern of my weekly episodes. So I wanted to make sure I got this out to you guys, and I hope that it's resonated with you on some level. If you're wanting to work with me, make sure that you get on the wait list in the show notes for the next intake of End the Cycle Evolve. It's not open right now for enrollment, and there's the cats fighting in the background. But the link will be inside the show notes for this episode or in my Instagram bio link as always. And that wraps up this episode. I hope that it's been helpful for you and that you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. If you love this show and it has served you and helped you on your journey, please take a moment right now and leave a rating and review in iTunes and Spotify. If you'd like more daily content, videos, and inspiration, come on over and join me at Awakening Women Support Official over on Instagram, where we can connect and you can continue your transformation and growth journey. And I'll see you online. Take care.
On Florida's Space Coast, we think you can have the best of both worlds. Kind of like right now. Driving, at your desk, maybe at the gym, but you're also grooving to some music. Visit us and you'll go to the beach and see a rocket launch. Or go kayaking and manatee spotting. It's all waiting for you on the only beach that doubles as a launch pad. Plan your adventure today at visitspacecoast.com.